Hi everyone, Leanne here from Jaded Blossom, and I'm going to do the Gnome Friends mouse die assembly. Hey, so I'm using the brand new Gnome Friends mouse dies along with the brand new Mouse Faces stamp set, and I'm going to assemble these guys. So I used American Crafts cardstock for these guys, you know, in gray and pink and black. So, you can add whatever layers that you want, right? You could sort of cut down on the amount of layers. For this one, I just added the head to the main base and the belly in white, and then the inside of the ears in the pink. Now you could literally stop after you added these little pink inside of ears. So you could skip the ear edge if you wanted to. There's all the pieces are there if you wanted to fill in every single piece, but you could certainly cut back and only cut out certain ones, to save yourself some time and effort. So I'm using my Barely Art glue and my embellishment wand, working on a Stampin' Up pad. All my die cutting was done with my Anna Griffin Empress, all the things I do. There we go. So this little mouse is going to have the die cut face. So I'm going to add on his little chops here. That's American Crafts white cardstock, and then little pink nose. I just think this mouse is adorable. Remember that most of the Gnome add-ons will work with these little guys. You can have them holding different things, wearing different hats, all the different things. So these are the little arms that you can add on, right? So if you want to add arms, like he's standing there with his little arms there, resting on his tummy, you can. Or you could use just the little paws, like they're holding something. I'm just going to add some score tape on the back just to hold them in place. Now, these little feet were cut out of American Crafts white cardstock, so this is going to be like a little standing mouse. Isn't he cute? I just think he's adorable. Now, if you wanted to stop at this point and just add little enamel dots for eyes, you could, right? Easy peasy stuff. Now I'm using American Crafts black cardstock and white cardstock for these little die cut eyes. You can see how they line up, on the inside of the eye there. There, so making sure everything lines up, and there are my little eyes. And then I can add those to my mouse with some Barely Art glue. And depending on the placement of the eyes, like you really get a different looking little character, right? Depending how close they are or far apart. But isn't he cute? Oh my goodness. I'm going to add some EK Success chalk to the cheeks because of course the mouse has some pink cheeks, right? And some Sakura white jelly roll pen in a number 10 to, give him some freckles because of course he's got freckles. Now there are little tiny whiskers if you want to add whiskers on by hand. Now, I messed them up at first. Just for, reference, the longest whisker goes in the center. But I messed that up. I do fix it in a moment. So I'll show you putting the whisker in the wrong place. I will fix it, though. So I would start with the longest whisker and put that in the middle. And then add the shorter whiskers on either side. But, like I said, these are tricky, these little whiskers. They're tiny little things. Now, there are stamped whiskers that you could use, which would be super cute. You could skip even using the little, you don't even really need to add the whiskers if you didn't want to, right? So I'm trying to decide where those whiskers are going to go. And there we go. So yeah, this is a really cute little set, I think, to use with your little, with your little card making supplies, all your little gnomes that you've amassed with their little add-ons, you can use with this guy. And super cute with the brand new stamp set, Say Cheese, right? Lots of little mouse options. So there is my super cute little mouse. And then you'll notice that I fixed my whiskers. Okay, and there it is on an A2 size card. Okay, so next I'm going to put together a mouse, adding all the layers. So here we're adding on the head. This is American Crafts gray cardstock again, using the same colors, adding the tail. You see, you can skip this part if you wanted to, right? I did on the first one, but I'm going to show you putting them all the parts on this guy. Adding his whole body again. And then his white belly. So like I said, super easy to put these guys together. And the ears. Now you don't have to do that. You could have literally just put the pink on those back ears and then the edge and call it done. But I decided to, you know, keep all the different parts on this guy. I'm going to add the pink on the inside of the ears. There we go. Now for the stamping face, you're going to want to use the plain face. There's one plain face with no stitching. And I stamped that, or I cut that out on the flat side of the, what's it called? The flat side of the paper, because it's like a textured cardstock. So I flipped it over and cut it on the other side. And this is American Crafts white cardstock as well. There we go. And now the little feet, this is going to be like a sitting one with the feet sticking out in front. So we have the little feet with the little pink little pads. There we go. And I will pop those on with some Stampin' Up! Dimensionals, the miniature ones. And then we will add them to my little mouse. There we go. Isn't he cute? Oh my goodness. And lastly, we've got the little hands. Remember that Jaded Blossom also has the MDF mouses. Like you can get the one with the little standing piece, or you could, you know, make a little hanging mouse, a little mouse ornament. So you might want to add that to your purchase. So now I'm going to stamp on the little face using my Misty. There we go. And I'm using Versafine Clair Nocturne ink. There we are. And I realized, darn it, there was a little thread on that stamp, so I have to re-stamp it. So I'm just going to add another layer of the muzzle. No one knows but you and me that I had a boo-boo. And there we go. Isn't he cute? This one's kind of sticking his tongue out. I just thought it's so cute. And there we go. I'm going to tap some glue and add a little pink nose to that, because how cute is that? Now I could have stamped the whiskers as well, but I decided to leave them off. I'm taking an R27 marker, Copic, and just carefully coloring in the tongue. And there we go. And I will glue that onto my little mouse head. I just think these are so cute. And I love the little, you know, the little expressions on their faces. So there he is. And just so cute. Next I will add, of course, some EK Success chalk to the cheeks, because, you know, got to have a little pink cheek on there. And I'm going to add a Sakura white Jelly Roll pen in a number 10, a highlight to the tongue, and then some little freckles on his cheeks, just to, you know, add a little something, something. And there he is. You can have him holding whatever you'd like. And there's 2 of those mice on a horizontal A2 size card. Okay, so next I'm just going to stamp one more little mouse face just for fun. I'm just going to have a little head. But remember, if you wanted to, you could literally use some little enamel dots for the eyes. Make it easy, right? If your kids are building a mouse, you can give them Google eyes even. That would be fun. And I'm going to stamp that face in Versafine Clair Nocturne ink. So this one is a different one. It's got like an open eye and a winky face. There we go. And oops, I just wanted to make sure that that was a solid stamping of that dark eye center. And there he is. You'll see that I put some EK Success chalk on that previous to stamping. I'm going to color in that white eye with Sakura white Jelly Roll pen. And I use a number 5, 8, and a 10 just to get into the crannies. And I'll color in that eye center. And then I'm going to add some freckles to his little cheeks and a little highlight to his nose. And there we go. Isn't he cute? Just showing you the different thicknesses of white pen. And I'm just going to, you know, color in that white eye because, you know, that's something that drives Leanne crazy, like I always say. And I'm just sort of filling in that white of the eye. And there we go. So thank you so much for stopping by. Be sure to hop on over to the Jaded Blossom blog, be inspired by the team, and the Jaded Blossom store to get shopping. Bye, everybody.